where I am.
I listen. I think I came in. That clock's wrong. I still got 12 seconds.
It's wrong.
Yeah,
Clock is always wrong.
yeah. Ken, you know because you sit there and look at it all.
Yeah, that clock has more stairs from me than any clock in the entire.
And it doesn't move sometimes, doesn't it? It just.
I'm just thinking that I need one that I can hit a button and it.
Speeds up.
You should see Rebecca's.
Well, can we appoint Mayor Moore as a
Temporary member.
temporary member of the committee? Let me tell.
She's not coming, so. And this is likely the first time that like multiple engineering people have shown up, so.
We
I'll let you
equal
guys know.
one vote.
Michelle's here.
I feel a little outnumbered.
Is that what it took?
Development, traffic, and capital projects. Really out of.
Can we just swear Ned in? I mean, he's gotta know just as much about what's going on in the city as anybody. I mean, just let him participate.
Ned's fairly partisan, though.
You're actually on these topics, he does have a particular.
There is a
bent.
very,
Yeah. Wait, are there any trail or sidewalk
yeah.
projects? Let's-
Well, there is. That's why he's here.
We do have that mobility coordinator position coming up.
Oh. Ah, see?
Let's get on and discuss.
Everybody be riding bicycles.
You won't get us one short.
They tried to do it and like shut them down.
Well, I was really looking forward to this.
Adam,
Were you?
Yeah.
would you bring some things to put on the table?
Afternoon.
Yes, I gotta get you, I'll send that tonight,
Oh, okay.
the slides that explains what.
Explain what I'm supposed to be explaining.
That's why would I walk that way, because
Sorry, I've been stuck in meetings.
Good afternoon, Franklin. Today is Thursday, October 24th, and we are here for the Capital Investment Committee meeting. The first order on our agenda is to call the meeting to order. We'll do that. We'll take roll. Alderman Berger,
Present.
Alderman Brown,
Present.
and Alderman Blanton is not in attendance today. The second order is to set the agenda. Are there any items that you would like to move or adjust on the agenda?
I move to set the agenda as stated.
Second.
Has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is set. The next item on the agenda is for citizen comments, which we will open to hear comments from citizens on the issues, including those related to the items on the agenda. If you do have an item you would like to submit, please submit a speaker card at the beginning of the meeting. And if you would like to address the board or the commission, if you would like to speak on an agenda item, I will hold the comment until the public comment period associated with that particular item. As provided by law, boards and commissions shall make no decisions or considerations of action of citizen comments for items not on the agenda except to refer the matter to the city administrator, staff, or administrative consideration, or to schedule the matter for consideration at a later date. Those addressing, did you have one? Those addressing the board or the commission are requested to come to the microphone, identify yourself by your name and address for the official record. I may restrict the period for public comment, including the length or public comment period, or the number of individuals who can speak, and the length of time each individual may speak. When the time allows, the standard individual comment time is 2 minutes. Next item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from our last meeting, August 26th.
Are you gonna?
Oh, you're going to speak at this point?
You have 1 hour.
Sure, public comment piece.
He was
Sorry.
just kidding.
Only thing I wanted to bring up today, because I wasn't sure what board or BOMA hears it next, but to give you guys a hard time about the 3rd Avenue and Margin right turn only plan. I understand the traffic deal there. I don't love removing a crosswalk in the downtown core. Our walkability, particularly in downtown, is pretty historic. The people walking have been here a lot longer than the cars have. And I've got to say, deleting a crosswalk to speed up cars isn't really preservation or progress. So I know the alternative is you got to cross south, then cross east, then cross north again if you wanted to get over to the Murfreesboro Road sidewalk. I timed that out. It's like 3 minutes, 8 seconds something to do that roundabout way. So I don't know if that's really worth the 20-second speed up for drivers, but we hand a 3-minute delay to pedestrians. So that's my only qualm with it, to be on the record. And I think there is still a way to program a pedestrian phase. I know it doesn't have to be every cycle to hold the right turn traffic, but when folks are there, I believe there would still be a way to have a cross phase like you do now to let folks get across the street to reach the south side, and then a dead end on 4th where they would still need to be able to cross at that corner. So that's all.
Thank you, Ned.
Did he say church and what?
3rd and Margin.
Oh, 30 more.
3rd and Margin.
Oh, okay.
Seeing no other citizen comments at this point, the chair will close the citizen comment period, and we will work through the agenda to approve the minutes from our last meeting on August 22nd.
Move to approve the
Second.
minutes?
Second.
The motion has been made and properly seconded. All in favor? Do we need a voice vote or roll call vote? Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
The chair votes yes, 3-0 approval of the minutes, and on to new business. Item number 3 is consideration of ordinance number 2024-33, an ordinance to establish all-way stop control at the intersection of Townsend Boulevard and Elliott Road. Staff?
Yeah, so this is from a request from the West Haven HOA. They actually had multiple intersections they were requesting for always stops. One of which was this particular one, Townsend Boulevard and Elliott Road on your screen there. There were others as well. Earlier in the year, we had approved Jewel Avenue right by the school on the other side of Pierre Creek Elementary School, and that one is done. But this one, Elliott Road in Townsend, it did qualify for an always stop from MUTCD warrants for an always stop. There's already a leg marked with a crosswalk, which doesn't have a stop sign. And it's goes right to the elementary school. So with our study, obviously being next to a school crosswalk, it meets warrants for an always stop. There's a few others that did not. They did not meet any of the MUTCD warrants, but this one did. So this ordinance basically allows them to put the always stop in.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there discussion?
Yeah. Let me go back up here to that first one, if I can get it to go. So they're looking at West Haven Boulevard and Front Street, is that correct?
Yes.
And they want a 3-way stop that way.
They did, and it didn't meet any of the warrants for always stop. There were some other concerns there that there's also a road to the north, is that State Street, that also has a stop sign. So and then a signal at obviously 96.
Yeah.
And it didn't meet any of the warrants for that. There is a crosswalk, it's signed, marked, across West Haven Boulevard on both sides.
Where is that crosswalk located? At
They're
front?
on north and south.
At front?
On front, yeah, by front.
All right. Yeah, I'd be a little concerned just putting a stop sign there coming in on West Haven. Stop the traffic coming in that way.
And it didn't meet
Sometimes it
warrants.
gets a little, huh?
So,
No. so
yeah,
it
we
doesn't.
didn't, it wasn't recommended in the ordinance for that.
Again, what are you recommending for these? Which ones?
Just Townsend and Elliott for the always stop.
Just the Townsend?
Yeah.
Let me look at that again. I just want to, yeah. Okay,
And the motion is just for that one.
yeah.
Yes, just
Right.
for that.
I just wanted to be clear on that.
Sure,
All right, thanks. I'm good.
So the motion has been made to recommend to BOMA the addition of the
Townsend.
always stop at the intersection of Townsend Boulevard and Elliott Road.
Right.
By roll call vote, Alderman Berger, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, 3-0. New business item number 4, consideration of ordinance 2024-38, an ordinance to revise the pavement markings, signage, and traffic flow for Acton Street from 9th Avenue to Plaza Street. Staff?
Yeah, so this is kind of in conjunction with our temporary city hall relocation there on 9th Avenue. Due to how many staff would be looking for parking, we did look at this, and Paul put this graphic together here and kind of made the suggestion that we could turn Acton into a one-way, add some parallel parking along the south side of Acton Street. We talked to the church on the corner, and they were all for it. They are also always looking for parking. So they were in agreement, and that'd be the only property that would be directly affected by the one-way. Obviously, the police department's right there. And they have you can go either side of the garage in and out. So we think that this is a better way to pick up some parking spaces while still maintaining traffic flow. Acton Street's a very low volume street, so it seemed to make sense for us.
Where's, do we make?
Move to approve.
Sorry. Yes.
Motion's
second,
been
second.
made and seconded. Discussion?
Okay. Where are we on this map?
So 9th is on the right,
I'm sorry, what?
9th Avenue is on the right,
Yeah,
and then the police station's to the south where that parking garage is,
yeah.
and then Plaza is on the left. And so the only one-way section would be between 9th and Plaza,
And that would be the one-way. You're turning that into
going
a
towards
one-
Folk Street.
One-way.
And the church is really the only ones that really.
I mean,
Dump out that
hit that,
section.
right?
who uses that for what purpose? Certainly not, we wouldn't be at City Hall, or at the temporary City Hall, we wouldn't really be using that road, would we?
We could park there.
For parking, we're trying to pick up extra parking
Yeah,
spaces
so
on street.
so right here where my cursor's at on the screen,
Right.
this is the middle, we call the middle building. So this is
Yeah.
where development services will be. So you'll have BNS,
Right.
planning and engineering in this building. The White House will be where I think revenue management,
Right,
IT is gonna be. And then of course down here is the larger building where administration, some other offices are gonna be.
And the
So
parking
this will
garage.
be overflow parking, but it'll still be public parking.
On the road.
Yeah, we're not, it'll be on street parking.
on both sides?
No,
Just one
side.
side.
No, just on the one.
So that's a room for
And it's
design.
going that way for one
It's
lane?
going southbound.
Yeah,
Southbound, yeah.
Sorry, yes, north is to the
And that would
right.
be 19, it's hard to see the number there, but it's 19 spaces. is what that
And
would-
why is someone asking for this again?
Additional parking, we don't believe that
We
we're
are
gonna have enough.
looking
yeah,
at that?
Yes, we're looking
Okay.
at that. We don't believe we'll have enough parking at the First Bank site for everyone. And you have to think about city vehicles that are on
Right.
site, all the people that are coming to City Hall, and then just customer parking as well.
Just sidebar, are we able to use the church parking lot at all? Are we talked to
That's part of
them?
what we're
Yeah.
showing here on this exhibit as well,
We're gonna-
is how many spaces we think we could potentially get out of that as well if we have a
If we need to,
partnership with the church
yeah,
as well.
okay.
Yep.
Yep, okay, just wanted to make sure I was clear on all that.
I just had one question. So if you go to the south on that road, I'm assuming we'll have to put up signage that says
Yes.
stop turn.
Yeah, do not enter.
Do not enter?
It's a low, as you said, low volume road to begin with, and
Yeah.
even further down. I'm trying to recall, does that road connect back or does it dead end?
To the left
behind?
of the screen?
Yeah.
It goes to
Okay.
Folk.
All the way to Folks, okay.
don't think it does go all the way through.
Does it stop behind the hill?
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
Where does it go?
It turns back into Natchez. That's right.
Doesn't it, it goes on, but it's not a dead end.
I was
Doesn't
thinking
it?
of the HG
Oh,
Hill
no.
property. They were going to try to connect it
Yeah,
through the
okay.
property.
Yep, there you go.
So
Jonathan to the rescue.
so when HG Hills does
Ah, yeah.
redevelop, if they would like that back to
See,
two-way, by
that's
the
a
time they
better map.
develop, we could always rescind the ordinance and make it back to two-way.
You could.
Okay.
No, this is a better map. We should have started with this. I get the overview.
Any other questions for staff?
Good.
This time I'll take,
I do have a comment. How do you notify the neighborhoods around there that do use that street? Is it only gonna be signage that you put up that it's converting? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's selfishly, that's my route to go to the gym every morning. So
Yeah.
I'll be going one way, but to come back, I'll just go down to Ninth.
Natchez, yeah, you'd have to go Natchez to go back the other way to
No, I would come
go.
down from Columbia Avenue to Ninth.
Oh, okay, so you'd have to go to Ninth to, yeah. Yep, there you go.
thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Roll call vote. Alderman Brown, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes,
And the chair votes yes. On to item number 5, the consideration of draft ordinance 2024-39, an ordinance to establish a 2-hour parking zone along 9th Avenue from Columbia Avenue to Natchez Street. Staff?
And this is similar to what
There he goes.
we just talked about with the temporary city hall location. The current inset parking that's along 9th Avenue is
go.
not time restricted. There are 11 spaces there, and we feel that restricting that to a 2-hour parking space will allow for citizens to come to the temporary city hall, people who are doing business with city hall, so that staff does not park in those spaces. We could obviously tell them not to, but we can't really enforce it.
Rather than direct them in the back here into the lot.
Yep. That might or may not have available spaces. So we're using those 11 inset spaces for citizen and
is
business.
that, we may have a motion. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a question.
Motion has been made and seconded.
So are we having a time limit on that? I mean, 2 hours, but I mean, time during the day.
It'll be signed just like the rest of downtown. So working hours, I think it's
Yeah, I
is
was
it
gonna
8
say,
a.m. to
because
5
if people come to
p.m.
BOMA meetings and things, oh, well, we're gonna be.
You're gonna be at
we're-
the
We're gonna be, yeah.
Williamson County.
Now, we're gonna have any meetings in there, like some committee meetings or anything? I probably won't.
I believe most of the committee meetings are going to be at Eastern Flank.
Oh, that's true. So we,
There will be more than likely sustainability in one of the buildings.
Yeah,
Since we are not
since-
able to utilize Eastern Flank on a Friday, since they try to keep it for those people renting on the weekends.
yeah.
So,
And
more
there's-
than likely sustainability, but we're still figuring that out.
And there's some conference rooms there that we can utilize. Okay, so we don't have to worry about parking people there later. Okay. No, okay.
And we'll use the same traffic enforcement, the parking ambassador to
Yes.
police these
Yep.
or enforce. Okay.
Yes, and we also talked to the Drury Group, was the only building down that road that we aren't
Yeah.
going to be in, and they were okay with that. They were fine with the 2-hour parking as well.
Okay. I was going to ask, how about the other businesses there?
And then the other question, it will be signed with the standard 2-hour parking. It won't say anything like visitor parking to instruct visitors to park in the area.
No, just say Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to, just like the ones out on Main Street,
Okay.
8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So a motion has been made and is seconded correctly. Roll call vote, Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. On to item number 6, the consideration of draft resolution 2024-94, a resolution authorizing the city administrator to approve agreements and the use of condemnation, if necessary, to acquire rights of way and/or easements for the Columbia Avenue widening and improvements project.
Move for approval.
T.Pin
Get that going.
1214544.00. Staff.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Do we want to hear staff comments first?
I will say this is simply what we do for any other project. You know, obviously, if we don't have to use condemnation, we don't, but we always want to get that up front just so we can
Yeah.
keep things moving. What I heard from my project manager today was we do finally have all of the title searches in.
Oh, really?
So the TDOT Form 4s are going to go out probably in the next week or so. And what a TDOT Form 4 is, it's the initial notification to the property owners. The good thing about having all the title searches in is that we're going to do all the Form 4s at one time. So everybody will get notified that basically, hey, everybody already knows there's a project, but
Right.
hey, we're about to start the right-of-way phase. You're going to have appraisers coming to visit you, and we're actually going to have the surveyors go out there and survey stake everything. So that'll probably happen about a week after the Form 4s go out.
Do we know how many?
What's that?
Do we know how many there are to?
I believe it's about 56 or 57 property owners that we're going to have to deal with. Now, some of them are duplicate property owners,
Yeah.
but that's how many properties.
And, I mean, we've been talking to them, and I know some are happy and some are less happy, but
Which is
hopefully,
pretty similar for every project we do.
hopefully
one
this
just-
moves smooth enough along. Yeah.
And just for those watching at home, you said a week from now, they'll get the letter.
Thereabouts, yes.
Or so, a week after that, someone will begin interacting with them.
Well, we'll have surveyors out there. The survey staking is primed to begin there.
Okay. And in addition to that, so after this phase, how long before we start kind of moving into the next?
Well, what we'll do after the Form 4 letters go out, we'll start scheduling in groups, small groups. So what we don't want to have happen is we go out there, have the appraisers meet with property owners, and we have a bunch of appraisals come in at one time, because those have to go through a specific process. And once the appraisals get stale, we have to basically go back through and repay to have those appraisals done again, because they get too old and get too much age on them. So we're going to do those in small groups. So once everybody gets notified, we'll start working through groups at a time. So the appraisers will start contacting the residents, or not the residents, but the business owners out there to schedule times with them.
Okay. Thank you for that additional info, Jonathan, there. Motion has been made and is seconded. I'll look for a roll call vote from Alderman Berger,
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, 3-0. Next item is number 7. I saw the T-dot there and got me sideways. Consideration of Amendment 1 to City of Franklin Contract Number 2018-0242. A professional services agreement with Barge Design Solutions for final design services on the Columbia Avenue widening and improvements project, T-dot PIN 121454.00, at a cost increase of $322,528.
So what this does is add the actual survey services for staking. We didn't have that originally in the contract for them to do, but we decided it was best to go ahead and have the surveyor who originally did the original survey for the project to go ahead and do that for the appraisers and for the negotiators. It made more sense to have them do it because they're most familiar with the job. We also had to make some changes to the actual survey, not the survey, but the easement acquisition and property acquisition documents, just because of the way we're acquiring some properties in the city's name and some properties in the state's name based on whether we're acquiring a local street, whether we're acquiring a public street. So there's some design changes that have to be made. And there was also some changes that Barge made in good faith that were required by TDOT because of some environmental issues we went through when TDOT was changing the way they looked at plans through environmental. So basically just plans changes, pretty normal standard stuff, but just things that had to be made.
Okay.
Move to approve?
Motion has been made.
Second.
And seconded. Roll call vote, Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
The chair votes yes. Move on to item number 8, consideration of Amendment 2 to City of Franklin Contract Number 2019-0097 with the Tennessee Department of Transportation for the State Route 96 Murfreesboro Road Traffic Signal Improvement Project. Adam?
Yeah, so this one is adding, it extends the period, now it's October 31st, 2024, which is fast approaching, and adds funds to the project. Our construction funds went over with the bid back in earlier this year. And so we got additional funding. Jonathan secured that funding for us with the MPO and some more CMAQ funding. So it's 100% federally funded. We did cover the costs, the overruns of construction with the additional funding. You will see another amendment for time, another time addition, because we're 10 days away from what this one says. And then there will be a second one for finaling the project. The project's actually done. It's complete. But there's some paperwork to be done with TDOT local programs project. So we, not only do we have to extend the time, we will have to do a final amendment as we do every TDOT local program project.
And they're a little bit lenient with these particular local agency project agreements. As long as you've got the work itself done, which we do have the work itself done, they will let you continue to bill as long as the money is there for several months after the date in the contract. So we may not have to revise this contract, but the construction contract that he's speaking of, that's what we'll have to revise.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and is seconded. Roll call vote, Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, 3-0. Item number 8. Moving on to item number 9, the consideration of Amendment 2 to City of Franklin Contract Number 2019-0233, a professional services agreement with Alfred Benich and Company for the final design of the old Paytonsville Road and Long Lane Bridge and Connector Project, City of Franklin Project Number 2019-015, at a cost increase of $242,000. Jonathan?
So this is basically where we went from the full build out to going back now to having, we're going to have the gap. So we're going to the minimum build. This goes back to actually kind of pull those gaps out and pull it back and slim down that design to make those gaps make sense. And to also fully flesh out the signal design at Lewisburg Pike to get that design fully done. We always knew we were putting the signal there. We didn't have a design yet for the signal, so this puts the signal design in. Other little things like that. It's some additional design that needed to be done for the project to get it to fully complete.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion has been made and is seconded. Roll call vote on the item. Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes, 3-0 on item number 9. Moving on to item number 10, consideration of City of Franklin contract number 2024-0311 with Toll Brothers, Inc. for reimbursement agreement for an amount not to exceed $416,750. Jimmy?
Yes, this is, some of you remember the Franklin Ridge project, which is at 565 Jordan Road. And they have their preliminary plat approved, and they've submitted a site plan. And with that, there was discussion that there's an opportunity to remove the barricades on Jordan Road and connect from McEwen all the way down to Liberty Pike. With that, there's some safety improvements that would be needed, which are above and beyond what the developer is required to do today, to the tune of about $417,000 of additional improvements that they have come and asked the board to participate in that cost. So that would give us 20 feet of pavement from Glen Eagle Lane, where the right-of-way was abandoned, if you remember that, all the way down to Liberty Pike, and put in a right-in, right-out for safety improvements there. Staff, this is not an arterial collector road, so it would come from the general fund. So staff would recommend we take it to a work session and then have more discussion there and then on further floor vote.
Move for approval with comment.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Alderman Berger?
Yeah, this is the smart thing to do at this time, because they're out there working, they can do the work. We can get it done, we can really improve that section and make it a lot safer. This is money well spent for this area. And I've been meeting with all the neighbors around there too, and they're looking forward to a little bit more work being done there, so, yeah.
So let's go to the next available work session.
That's what we were recommending. So since it was a kind of a unique situation with a different funding source than a normal
Yeah.
collector or roadway impact, regardless of how this works, it would work the same way. They would submit the actual cost for the construction. We'd reimburse them up to this amount. So
Yeah.
that's our
And we're
recommendation.
thinking it may be under that.
We hope so.
Yeah.
With them doing the work, that could
Yeah,
be the
I think
case.
it's definitely going to be under that, so, yeah.
Motion has been made and seconded. I think it was you, Alderman Berger,
Yes.
that made the original
I did.
motion. So roll call vote in favor.
Yes,
It's Alderman Brown,
Yes.
and chair votes yes as well. So recommendation to the full
Thank you.
next work session. Moving on to item number 11, which is consideration of draft change order number 1 to City of Franklin contract number 2023-0076 with Garney Construction for downtown area Lewisburg Avenue water and sewer improvements project at a cost increase of $287,732.25 and a time extension of 330 calendar days. Michelle?
I'm sorry.
Okay, so this is, when we initially, there's a couple things, if you look in your packet, that is with this change order. When we did the initial contract, it was just an administrative oversight that the time that Garney was given was just for the base bid, not for any of the alternates. So, we're adding that time extension to include the alternates. That is one of them. The second one is, and I have, there we go, thank you, Jonathan. The second, so the additional sewer line that will be laid, as you can see, there are dual lines down Fifth and Lewisburg. They're two sewer lines and they're different elevations. There is a number of houses that are connected on one side to the higher elevation, a number of houses that are connected on the lower side. This project was combining both of those into a single sewer line and making all of that work. The problem is, in what we kind of ordered the bid and then got to looking at it a little bit further. These houses along margin, if we take out, if we combine these sewer lines, these houses are not going to have service. So this change order is to run that line along margin and just to give those houses back that service into that singular main. Does that make sense?
Is that because of gravity? I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means. Why
So-
would they not?
Yeah, so there are two lines that run down.
I get that.
The margin is connected into one of those lines. As we take those lines and move the elevation to merge both of those sewer lines together, right? These houses are not going to be served because of the
They'll be
elevation.
lower, yeah.
So we realized kind of after looking at it a little bit further, we needed to include this alternate so we could provide the sewer service to these customers without having any sort of elevation issues backing up into their house.
Unless they'd like to be the brand new owners of some pumps.
So bad kind of bumps. So the Margin Street homes are lower than Lewisburg Fifth? Is that, and so will it have to be pumped or will the pipes be laid
No,
deeper?
it'll all be flowing by gravity.
Okay,
That's
so-
why we're gonna replace the entire line along this road.
Okay, and you can move those existing pipes lower so
Yes.
that gravity can play? Okay.
So that is this one. This 300, the 287 is out of the contingency, essentially. The contingency was 330,000. I needed to get this on an agenda so I could get Garney moving on ordering materials to do it in this phase. I do intend on adding a little bit more to this project contractually, pulling from some other sources of projects we're not doing in our department, but I just haven't had a chance to do that yet. So that'll be coming at some point.
Will the approval or the progress of this allow for work to continue, or will this potentially delay what phase is this, phase 2 or 3?
Well, they would like to do this, and since this is essentially tying into margin, tying into the phase that they're in right now. If we didn't approve this right now, then they'd have to come back and do it, which might alter traffic conditions again.
Okay. I think the 330 calendar days is what scared me on that one.
No, this is not an additional. This is the
Okay.
total amount.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right, move to approve.
motion has been
Second.
made and has been seconded. Roll call vote, Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Moving on, passes 3-0. Item number 12, capital projects dashboard and status updates for October 2024. Jonathan?
The few I'll offer, we've talked about Columbia Avenue, talked about the major water sewer work going on. You may have some more questions about that, but McEwen Drive Phase 4 is out to bid. Tentatively, the bid opening was scheduled for the 8th. I think we're going to push that to the 15th, just to have a little bit more time to answer some questions on that. 15th of November.
Okay.
So we can still, basically what we're trying to do is just make sure we still get in front of the board to award the bid
In
in
December.
December. So we want to make sure we're awarding that before the
I
end of the
know,
year.
I don't want to go to January.
So we've had 6 contractors, pretty sizable contractors, pick up plans so far, and I think at least 4 of those would be potential prime contractors on that. So it's been good interest so far. We did open bids for Southeast Park, and we opened bids for Robinson Lake. So you'll see those forthcoming here pretty soon. We actually have an internal meeting on that next week to just have some final discussion on some of the alternates that were bid with that, and before we bring that to you guys. Jordan Road's going really well. The contractor hopes to have that done.
When?
I would say by what I was told last time was, if not by the end of October, which is not going to be the end of October, was by Thanksgiving. So is what they were told. So now that I've said that, it'll drag into May of next year. But
better not.
they've really been, Jones Brothers has really been hammering that one out there. They've really been doing a good job on that one. So
Yeah.
the bridge itself, it's done. So the bridge is
It looked like it was done
The
the
bridge
other
is
day.
done. The section of the roadway from the bridge back to Aspen Grove is up to binder, so it just has to have final paving. So once they got the bridge done, they're actually working on the shorter section from the bridge back towards the movie theater side now. So that's actually what they're finishing out now. So once they get that done, we get it topped, we'll open it back up.
That'll be great to have.
So that one will be nice. They've told us they really want the full incentive on that one, so they're pushing for it, so.
Yep, good. I want it to be open in December for sure, early.
Seems like Bicentennial's going really well and really like ahead almost, it seems like, but maybe not, but it seems like
It's
going
definitely
really
not
well.
ahead, but it's going well now. We're starting to see some vertical elements come out of the ground now. I know it was frustrating when you go out there and look at still a dirt pile, still a dirt pile, still a dirt pile. Now we're starting to see some elements come out of the ground. You're starting to see some flat work, and it's starting to look like a finished product now, so.
It is starting to, yeah.
Yes. And I believe one of the updates I heard on that was, and because Adam's asked about this several times with all the goings on downtown traffic wise, what kind of relief can we have with traffic? And that we've had part of Second Avenue and North Margin closed now
Yeah.
because of Bicentennial. And hindsight 2020, we would definitely do that differently because we haven't had equipment staged in the roadway or really as much as we thought we were going to, or thought the contractor was going to with that one. So the contractors told us, I believe, what I was told was the first part of November is when first week of November is when they're proposing to get that topped and completed. So we're looking to open that roadway back up to the public and get that. It'll obviously be before the project opens, but we're trying to get the roadway itself back open in the next couple of weeks.
Where are we with, the rehabilitation of the bridge going into Liberty Park? That
So-
bridge was so bad.
one
Yeah,
that makes
so
noise.
that,
we've been.
well, there were wood sticking up going in people's tires.
So we bid out that project as a true rehab, and of course the bids came back in much higher than what we were really anticipating. It came back in as like $1.3 million to rehab that, which was really, really high considering we paid $1.2 to $1.4 million for the whole first phase of the park.
That's not what I was asking for.
But
So,
what's that?
well, we're supposed to redo that bridge for the whole project.
Yes.
I just wanted them to go out there and put down another board. That's all I asked.
Yeah, that's between, I guess that's parks. That's not us. But we're working on the actual replacement of the bridge itself as well.
Oh, so what's in here is the bridge replacement
That's the bridge replacement. That's
for the
correct. Yes.
project?
Yes.
Okay.
And we're treating them as if, we're also working on finalizing the Liberty Park plans to get them, so they're pretty much at a point now where we're working with BNS
Yeah.
to get those finally permitted, so we can go ahead and bid those. And we're also we're getting a separate full replacement bridge plans done, which is one of the things we talked about doing originally. We're gonna be able to shorten the bridge span and just replace the existing packaged pre-built bridge with a concrete span bridge. So we'll be able to just replace that bridge and it'll be about half the length of what it is now. So, and then it'll be good for the next 100
Well-
years because it'll be a concrete bridge.
So
So we'll be
that's-
able to replace the whole maintenance nightmares that we've had with it. We won't have to worry about retrofitting anything.
Right.
We'll get much more competitive bids on that.
Well, and
And
I
we're in the
agree.
process of getting that redesigned.
I agree, it needs to be concrete, but they need, who do I need to talk to? Lisa on
Parks.
that?
I would talk to Parks.
Yeah.
They already did it because it posted on
Yeah,
social media.
I thought they did, yeah.
Did they? I've been-
They
I
posted
should-
on Facebook that they already finished it. So I think it's done.
Just the rehab part of it.
Just the rehab.
Yeah, just the repairs.
The
Yeah,
repairs.
just the
Okay, I haven't
repairs.
been over there, so that's
Yeah.
why I was asking. I've been, usually drive in there every other weekend or something, but I'm like, I haven't been over there, so I didn't know if they did that.
Yeah.
Okay, but to rehab and redo that bridge in a concrete bridge.
Yeah, we're completely ripping out the old bridge and we're gonna put in a
Yeah.
whole new bridge.
That's my understanding. I just want to make sure
Yes.
that we just don't plop down a piece of concrete and make it look like
No, the original
We have to
plan
do
was, we were
something.
basically going in, we were gonna have to sister up new pieces of steel, do welding on the bridge. It was very complex, and we were putting a concrete deck on it. We were putting a sealer on the concrete to keep water from getting to the steel. It got to be very expensive and very complex, which is what drove up the bid price.
Yeah.
And there was only, I think, 2 bidders that bid the thing. And it was all specialty work. So that's why we came back and said, "Well, let's circle back. That's not gonna work." So we're doing just a standard bridge design. It's gonna be a decorative bridge design.
Yeah, I was
but it's
gonna
gonna be a
say,
standard
hopefully
bridge
it looks
design.
decent.
Yeah, it'll still have your form
Because-
liners and all the decorative elements and railings and things like that,
Because
but
we're doing this big project
Yeah.
over there, $14 million worth of work.
it'll
Got to
still,
make the bridge look
it'll
decent.
still be like we would do for any other park.
Okay,
It will
thank
just,
you,
it will just
'cause
be
I was worried
concrete.
about that. Can you tell me, also, I know we're not doing this, but have you heard anything on when Liberty Pike's going to be done? Because they just coated that new section.
Yeah, that, I don't have any information on that one. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I'll call Ralph on that,
Yeah.
because I need to know.
And Paul may know. I can mention to Paul to give you a call if he
That's
knows
fine.
anything.
I'll text Ralph, he can probably tell me, because they have to, all right, good.
Anything from you, remember? I did have one question for you, Michelle, and it was, you're going to love
I
it.
told you it was coming.
It's about the Pumpkin Fest this weekend being probably one of the most visited, if not the most, but one of the most visited times for our downtown area. And the water project that we have going on is city staff working with the project, or the event organizers to figure out how they can address walkability and drivability in the city at that time. I mean, I came in this evening along Lewisburg and made a right, and I was sitting in traffic where we're talking about the right turn only that
Yeah.
we heard about earlier in the meeting. I can see that being a very
It's gonna be
difficult
rough.
intersection during this
It's gonna be
weekend.
tough, yeah. We have, so we've been working with Monique we have all of those calendars, or we have all the events on the calendar, and have been trying to, we really wanted to pull out of the 5 Points intersection by Pumpkin Fest. That was kind of our biggest push. Either way, if we were either in the section that we're in now or the next section, which is just the Margin Street intersection, it was gonna be terrible either way. Like, it was just not gonna be avoidable. We have, pulling back from 5 Points, we have opened up some of those parallel parking spaces, hopefully that some folks will take advantage of. But, we've worked with a couple other residents along the area to help with the walkability and kind of some of their concerns. So it's just gonna be painful.
Generally speaking, like there's not put a police officer there to help traffic flow or think about something up at Third and that intersection just because of a Third and is it Margin where it turns right. And I'm thinking because as you come in along Lewisburg, you would think that you could go on up and make a right turn and get to the parking garages
Yeah.
or get into the downtown corridor, but you can't because that road's blocked. So you either have to go right or left at
Okay.
that point. And if everybody goes right, then you're stuck at the Third Avenue back up and just to help with the flow of folks coming in from the south.
Adam conveniently left, but I can send him an email and see if
My
there's
only
anything
request,
else we
I
can
know
do
it's
on
going to
that.
be difficult. My only
Yeah.
request is if we need to do additional traffic control out there, certainly during the peak hours or of the parade when we got people flowing in and out,
Sure.
or the festival when we have people flowing in and out, just to make it a little bit less painful would be my request.
Okay, I'll take a look at that and
Thanks,
we'll
Michelle.
send something out.
I think the talk's going to roll a changeable message sign out there that says, "For traffic concerns, contact the Water Management Department."
It's been a rough 2 days.
I apologize for putting that on.
It's fine. It's-
All right, that being said, any other business staff that we need to address in this meeting? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'm sorry, second.
All in-
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the second.